Hello, my name is Jillian. I'm submitting this introductory video to the Banyan Global Learning High Council in hopes that I will be accepted as a teacher. I'm really excited by the platform and the idea of connecting with a large amount of students in a distance learning scenario. I think distance learning is the future as we become more and more connected, interconnected. The opportunities that people have to experience education from different types of professionals from all over the world with distance learning and individualized education plans. I think it's exciting. It's the future. I've been a teacher for almost 8 years. And I think that having a tailor-made education program for students is the best way to encourage learning. We don't all learn the same, and distance learning and having that kind of ownership over your education is incredibly important. And I'm really happy to see that there's more, that there are companies out there that are focused on education and the use of technology and all of those things. I just think that's really exciting. So my personal professional experience, I taught a little bit in the U.S., sort of as introductory, like in preschool. I moved to China, and I was in China for about 3 years. And then I also taught in Vietnam. So I have a lot of experience with teaching students from different cultures with different levels of English. I was an ESL teacher at first, and then I got my teaching license and became a secondary history or I guess I say social studies. It was geography, economics, political science, and world history. Those are the subjects I taught. Middle school, I know everybody doesn't like middle school or they say negative things about middle school students, but I think it's an excellent age. They're still full of wonder and can actually have a conversation. But anyway, so I have a lot of experience with working with students from other cultures, working with students with multiple cultures, and that kind of, and everything kind of in between. Myself, I had to readjust to living in a different place and speaking a different language, and so I can personally commiserate with that as well. So the third question, I think what my students would say about me is that I like to think that I'm relaxed, maybe not all the time, but I tend to come about everything honestly. The way I'm talking to you is the same way I would talk to, my 14-year-old students, my 8th grade middle school kid who's working on a project. I, am genuine. I think that is something that is important when it comes to teaching, because kids can smell it. They can smell fear, and I'm sure they can do it through the computer as well. And they can tell when you're not being real, when you're being fake, when you're being artificial. And there's a little bit of performance and theater and artificialness in teaching in general, but I think it's important to be authentic. And I think that that's what all of my students would say about me, is that I'm authentic. If there's something I don't know, I'll admit that freely. I don't pretend to know everything, and I want to make education accessible. And one of the best ways to make it accessible is to make it human. And I think, that's how my students would describe me. Maybe also a little bit of a nerd, but getting excited about historical facts, nerdy and genuine. I feel like that's how I would be described. All right, well, I look forward to moving forward.